Rankings within sports. Sometimes they make sense. Other times they're just fucking thrown out of the fucking window because money. Anyway, that's the topic for today's video. As you can tell by the title, I am going to be fixing the UFC rankings. Question mark? I put a question mark there because I don't have a problem with all of the rankings, just some of them. We're going to be talking about a few divisions, and then I also want to touch on the pound for pound division. That one has the biggest question mark. We'll get there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. First off, we are talking about the Bantamweight Division. As you can see, I have Merab holding his gold. Probably the Bantamweight GOAT. I don't even want to say probably. He definitely is. And with this win against Sandhagen, I'll probably cement him. Shut up all the doubters. No more people being like, Dominic Cruz. No, we're done with that. We're done with the Dominic Cruz train. Anyway, here are my bullet points. Talking about the Bantamweight Division, and then after this slide, I do have my own version of the rankings next to the official version as of releasing this video. So my first complaint is O'Malley at number 1. I get that he was the former champion, so they get bumped down to number 1. But in my opinion, I feel like the former champion should get bumped down to like 3, maybe 4 in some cases. Because at the end of the day, if you only have one defense or not even a defense, like in Sean Strickland's case, why are you still number 1? You got to fight your way back, and that's what Strickland did, kind of. He fought Paulo Costa, that's a whole other thing. But I don't understand why the former champion gets bumped down to 1 when the other 2 underneath are probably next in line, so 2 and 3. In this case, I don't know why O'Malley's still at number 1. I feel like he should be bumped down. We'll get into that later. And also, Henry Cejudo's still in top 10? Isn't he on a 3-fight losing streak? I know the Song Yadong match, he got eye poked or something. But didn't it go to judges' scorecards anyway? And he lost anyway? Anyway, and then my other point is Martinez beat Font, who was ranked number 9, but he's only ranked 11 from being not ranked. I don't understand that. We've seen that before when Max Holloway beat Justin Gaethje and was only ranked number 6 in the lightweight division when Gaethje was 3. Shouldn't you take that person's spot? Anyway, let's get into the Miguelodon official rankings. So as you see here, I put Petr Yan at number 1 because I feel like he's the deserving, rightful number 1 contender. He's kind of been floating around 3 and 4 for a while. I moved Umar to number 2 because I feel like his spot makes sense. It's all right. I know people are like, he didn't really find anyone to get that spot, but we're not here to talk about that. I moved Corey Sandhagen up to number 3 because it makes sense that he's fighting Merab because he already beat O'Malley, Umar, and Yan. So putting him at number 3 kind of makes sense. I moved Sean O'Malley down to number 4 because he does have to work his way up. Petr Yan, Umar, and Corey kind of have an argument for having a match with Merab. Corey Sandhagen's already booked to fight Merab. Petr Yan should definitely be next. And then if Umar wins his next fight, who else? Who else really deserves a shot? I think he's fighting Song Yadong next, if I'm not mistaken. He is not. He's fighting Mario Batista. I mixed it up. I think Figueiredo's fighting Song Yadong. Anyway, that's perfect because that actually was going to be my next point. I bumped Mario Batista up 2 spots to 6. People might get mad at that, but I feel like he makes more sense being that highly ranked than Figueiredo, Zahabi, Vera, or Martinez. And as you can see, I bumped Cejudo out of the top 10. Like I said, because he's lost like 3 times in a row. Figueiredo scheduled to fight someone. Martinez, like I said, beat what's his name? Rob Font, who was 9, but I put him at 8 because I feel like his win is better than Zahabi being at 8 because I think currently right here they have Zahabi at 9, which is fine. Vera, I feel like shouldn't even be top 7. Isn't he also on a losing streak? He lost to Figueiredo. He's lost to Sandhagen. He's kind of... I just don't understand why Vera is still number 7. He hasn't... I don't even remember the last time Chito has won a fight, which is kind of fucked up to say. I'm a Chito fan. I'm not shit-talking him. I just feel like he's ranked a little too high. I feel like Zahabi and Martinez have a better case for being above him. Mario Batista, I definitely feel like has a better chance to be above him. He beat Jose Aldo, and then he beat Patchy Mix. I know none of those guys were ranked. I think Jose Aldo was ranked at the time, but like lower. But I feel like he's active, he's fighting all these people. Like I said, I don't remember the last time Chito fought besides against Davison Figueiredo. And that was how long ago? So Figueiredo's at least a little bit more active. He has a fight scheduled already. I think Vera has a fight scheduled too, but probably against someone lower in the ranking, so I don't know why he's number 7. Zahabi makes more sense. He's more active. Cejudo, I don't know why he was in top 10. Even look right here. Why did Cejudo get bumped up when Rob Font went down? See? 1, 2, 3. That's where Rob Font was. Why is David Martinez not there? I don't get that. I really don't understand that. Whatever, I guess. And also, I don't understand why Marcus McGee went down. He clearly lost the fight against Petr Yan, but he was fighting the ranked number 3 person in his division, and he did pretty all right. I don't know why he went down at all. Maybe keep him at, what was he at before that? 13? Keep him at 13? Because I don't think Vinicius Oliveira has fought anyone of Petr Yan's caliber yet. Rob Font, you lost, so you're going to have to go down. My big problem is O'Malley being number 1. And why the hell are these active guys ranked lower than these people on a 3-fight losing streak? Chito Vera is on a 3-fight losing streak. I think, off the top of my head, I haven't looked at him in a while. I know Henry Cejudo has lost 3 in a row. Why is he still top 10? And why did he go up from 11 to 10? I just don't understand that. Maybe if you hate the placement of what I have, at least put Martinez at 10. I don't know why Cejudo went up because Rob Font went down. Martinez should take his spot anyway and place him above Zahabi, because at least Martinez fought Font. Zahabi only fought Jose Aldo. I don't know. I don't understand these rankings. This is what I prefer to my left, not the ones on the right. I just feel like the right makes no sense. Why did those guys go up? They should be moved down, if anything. Vera should definitely be moved down. Anyway, next up is the Featherweight Division. I have a few bullet points in here, and we'll get into it. Yair, I feel like, is ranked too high. Is Ortega out of the top 10? I don't know. We'll talk about that in a second. And Pitbull at number 11, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Maybe 15 at best. But anyway, let's look at my updated rankings. I kept the top kind of the same. I moved Yair down 2 spots. I feel like he should be at 5 because I feel like this is how it should be. Movsar is definitely should be in line to fight Volkanovski for the title. I understand if he's injured. So it has to go not to Lopez because, they just had a match. But Lopez showed against Gene Silva that he deserves to be at number 2. Lerone Murphy, I feel like if Evloev is out, put Lerone Murphy in to fight Volkanovski, then Movsar can fight the winner of that. And then maybe Lopez and Sterling to see who's next up. If Volkanovski is still the champion around this time, maybe Lopez shouldn't get it since they fought so recently. So I feel like that's the top 4 is everyone who deserves, who's in title contention, like who has a argument to fight for the title. Aljamain having the least amount of merit to fight for the title. That's why he's at number 4. But Yair definitely shouldn't be 3. Well, he beat Pitbull. Oh, wow, dude. Unranked UFC fighter, Bellator guy coming over. Wow, dude, Yair beat him in a boring fight. Why is he ranked number 3? Why is he even throwing his name into the hat to fight Volkanovski for a rematch? Don't think that should happen. Don't know why he's ranked number 3 still. Like I said, Aljamain, Lerone, Diego, and Movsar all have an argument. Yair doesn't have an argument. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Arnold Allen, I had a little bit of a problem with Arnold Allen here. But realistically, he only lost like Max and Movsar, right? If off the top of my head, if I'm not mistaken. He fights like once a year, once every other year, probably. I don't know if he's fighting this year at all. Or if he already has. Don't remember. But he's, like I said, those losses, and he does win a lot. I guess 6 is okay for him. Brian Ortega, I was a little iffy on him being number 7 because in my previous videos I've talked about how I don't like Ortega being ranked so high because he barely fights, and he's kind of been showing a decline in his and his skill lately, maybe he should move up to 155. Maybe bumping him down will give him like, maybe it's time for 155. But at least he's still top 10 here, so maybe that's why he keeps fighting in the featherweight division. But I think Brian Ortega being at 7 is fine because 8, 9, and 10, Josh Emmett, Gene Silva, and Yusuf Zalal, I don't think either of them have a argument for being above Brian Ortega. Josh Emmett lost to Lerone Murphy. Gene Silva lost to Diego Lopez. If anything, that's why I bumped him up above Yusuf Zalal, because Diego Lopez is ranked number 2, and he was looking pretty good, and obviously until he got caught. But clearly, Gene Silva has enough skill level to compete with these top guys. I don't even remember who Yusuf Zalal fought last. I think, isn't he scheduled to fight Josh Emmett? Yeah, I think that's all I got. Patricio Pitbull, I don't understand why he's even 11. Steve Garcia and all those other guys should be up above him. I think Yusuf Zalal last win was Calvin Kattar, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. If I'm correct, I think that's why he's in the top 10. Poor Calvin Kattar, not even in the rankings anymore. Look at that. And Giga Chikadze is still ranked. I remember way back when Calvin Kattar beat the shit out of Giga Chikadze, and then now look, he's not even in the rankings. Kind of fucking sad. Anyway, next up, I have the lightweight division. There isn't much I want to change in here. Just remove Islam already. I get they were like, he's technically not in the welterweight rankings yet. But he already has his fight scheduled. Like, if he has his fight scheduled, he's clearly fighting in the welterweight division. So you could just remove him from the rankings. And then everyone gets bumped up one. And honestly, I can see an argument, as you can see by my second bullet point, maybe moving Chandler below Benoit Saint-Denis. Yeah, I feel like that makes more sense because Chandler has just been losing. What is his record in the UFC now? He only has 2 wins. Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker, which is funny because Dan Hooker's number 6. But I think that makes sense, having Benoit Saint-Denis at 12, because Moicano beat him. Honestly, you could have both Benoit Saint-Denis and Renato Moicano above Fiziev, in my opinion. They're more active and have fought more recently than Fiziev has. I mean, I know Fiziev short notice against Justin Gaethje, but like, and he did all right in the first round, but then he kind of got whooped in the second and third. Yeah, so maybe I can see an argument for that. Maybe Renato at 10, Benoit at 11, Chandler at 13, and Fiziev at 12. That makes sense to me. If you guys are okay with that, I don't know. You guys could be like, no, bro, Fiziev deserves that 10 spot. But why? Because he lost to Justin Gaethje. I guess that makes sense. I used that argument earlier. But in this case, I don't think Fiziev deserves that number 10 spot. Anyway, that's the only problems I have with the lightweight rankings. Remove Islam already. He's literally fighting Jack Della. It's already confirmed. He's clearly not fighting in the lightweight division anymore. Anyway, next up, I have the pound for pound list. And this is the one that has the biggest question marks. As you can tell, 7, 8, 9, Magomed, Della, and Tom have question mark. So, first off, the biggest thing I want to say, you could probably already see it, and people who have watched my channel, I know I'm very inconsistent. There's probably not a lot of people who watch it anymore. But I have kind of made a stigma around myself as a Khamzat Chimaev hater. I love Khamzat. I just hate what's happened. He used to be so active. Now he's not as active. He tried being active. The UFC didn't grant it for him. I also understand that his inactivity isn't his fault. He just has a weak immune system. He gets sick and then it's really bad. So I'm not hating on him for it. I just hated his Twitter antics when literally he wanted to just jump straight to a title shot. Like, that's not how it works. But anyway, enough of that. I do think it's disrespectful that they put Khamzat over Pantoja, who's been active as a champion and gaining multiple defenses. Khamzat literally just dethroned Dricus. I get it. People are like, no one's going to be Khamzat. Khamzat looks unbeatable. But MMA, it's MMA, anything could happen. I don't disagree that no one could, with that statement. Khamzat looks unbeatable, but I also feel like Pantoja deserves to be ranked number 4 over Khamzat because Pantoja has been clearing out his division. Khamzat literally beat Whitaker and Dricus. I get it. Really good competition. Great competition. Obviously, I feel like the middleweight division is skillful wise better than the flyweight division, but we shouldn't discredit Pantoja because of that. He literally beat Moreno, Ursig. I mean, I get Asakura came from another place, but that's how shallow the division is. He beat, I think I already said Kai Kara France. But he's beaten kind of everyone in his division. We should at least give him the 4th spot. I don't think he's above Merab, Islam, or Topuria. But at least give Pantoja the 4th spot. And also, I put Volkanovski above Hamzat. Because like I said, Volkanovski, I feel like, has gone up against more competition. Obviously not, because it's not Hamzat's fault that he hasn't fought as frequently. But the people Volkanovski has beat, I feel like deserves to put him at 5. He has that resume, while Hamzat really has like a short notice Kamaru Usman. He has a pre-washed Gilbert Burns, but I don't think that places him over Volkanovski. And then he has Robert Whittaker and Dricus, which also I don't think place him over Volkanovski. Maybe you can make the argument for that. Okay, maybe Hamzat over Volkanovski, but I definitely think Pantoja over Hamzat. I just feel like it's disrespectful to Pantoja, who's been clearing out his division and probably has the most title defenses with the current UFC champion roster. I'm pretty sure he does. Anyway, enough of that. I'm not a Hamzat hater, I swear. My argument made sense. You could call me a retard in the comments. I don't care. Magomed, Della, and Aspinall. This is where it gets tricky. I think Tom Aspinall should be above both of them. That's why I have the question mark. Or Magomed. Okay, this is what I know for sure. I feel like Magomed should be below. No, because, okay, so Magomed beat Pereira to get his title. Before that, he beat Johnny Walker. And then looking at his resume, he beat like Anthony Smith, Rakic, and all those guys. Okay, levels of competition. The Jan Blachowicz one, I feel like that draw still stands. I feel like that makes sense. A lot of people said Magomed should have won. I disagree, but that doesn't hinder his place. And then Della Maddalena beat Bilal Muhammad. And then before that, beat like a sort of on the decline Gilbert Burns. And then before that, he beat Kevin Holland. Not really a good run. Bilal Muhammad's probably like the best name in that 3-fight run right there. And then Aspinall, this is where it gets tricky. He beat Curtis Blades, and before that he beat Pavlovich, who at the time people thought was the scariest heavyweight. So does that put him over Maddalena? I'm not sure. I understand that Aspinall hasn't fought in a while, but that's not his fault. If we're not blaming Hamzat for not fighting in a while, we shouldn't blame Aspinall. Fuck John Jones. That's what we should say. But do those 2 wins mean more than Maddalena's win? I feel like Bilal is a better win than both Blades and Pavlovich. But that's only 1 win. Does that really put Jack Della at number 8? And then Magomed only beat Pereira, who's 10. I guess that makes sense. Because the people Aspinall have beaten aren't even in the pound-for-pound ranking. At least Magomed beat Pereira, and Jack beat Bilal, who's ranked number 13 right here, as you can see. So does that make sense? Honestly, there might be a better argument for Maddalena over Magomed, but at the same time, is the Bilal win a better win than the Pereira win? I don't know. If anything, I would probably put Jack at 7. And then Magomed at 8. Because what? Johnny Walker, Rakic, and fucking Anthony Smith put Magomed at 7? No, they clearly put him at 7 because he dethroned Pereira, who was probably top 5 at the time. That's the only reason why. So maybe 7 for Jack and then 8 for my boy Ank. I still feel like Tom Aspinall has a discussion for being ranked above those guys, but I think him being at 9 makes more sense. Because once again, like the flyweight division being shallow, the heavyweight division is completely shallow. It's like a barren desert out there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you could put Aspinall at 9, but Aspinall's clearly very skillful, and it's not his fault that his competition sucks. So okay, maybe I'll do that. Jack at 7, Magomed at 8, and Aspinall can stay at 9. But it's very iffy. Those 7, 8, and 9, I feel like there's a good argument that they can all go over each other. But the only thing that matters is I feel like Pantoja should be number 4. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I know I just kind of yapped and rambled, but the rankings kind of annoy me, as I've been saying it in my last few videos that I don't make the rankings. So take this with a grain of salt. Tell me I'm an idiot in the comments, or do whatever the fuck you want. As I always say, like and subscribe, do whatever the fuck you want. But the only thing that matters is you guys have a great day.